Everyone, this is High Point Mayor Jay Wagner calling our regular council meeting for March 6th, 2023 to order. I'd like to welcome all of you who are here, and to those who are listening online, welcome as well. It's a great day to be at High Point. Thank you all for coming out. I'd like to begin our meeting by letting everybody know that who's listening online that all members of council are present. We do have a quorum. And I would ask everyone here to please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Before we begin our regular agenda, I have one proclamation to read. This is, create a little space up here. This proclamation is regarding, go ahead, you can stand up. This proclamation is regarding Arbor Day in the city of High Point. Whereas trees are a precious natural resource that improve the appearance of our community, increase the value of property, moderate air temperature, lower energy costs, reduce soil erosion and stormwater runoff, and produce life-giving oxygen. And whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this special day, known as Arbor Day, is now celebrated throughout the nation and world. And whereas the state of North Carolina has determined that Arbor Day shall be celebrated annually on the first Friday following the 15th of March. And whereas the city of High Point has created an urban forestry program to conserve, protect, and maintain trees in city spaces, now therefore I, J.W. Wagner, Mayor of the city of High Point, do hereby proclaim March 17th, 2023 as Arbor Day for the city of High Point, and call upon all citizens of our city to participate in ceremonies and activities to preserve and enhance our community's urban forest for the benefit of all residents and visitors.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Piper?
If I may say a few words, too, about our Tree City USA designation. This is Andy Piper with the Planning and Development Department. So you have to have 4 criteria to receive the award. We're receiving it for the 19th year in a row. You have to have a public tree ordinance, a tree board, a community forestry program with expenditures of at least $2 per capita annually, and an Arbor Day observance proclamation. Being a Tree City USA means we as a community understand that in addition to beautification, there are practical roles that trees play in our city. But we do have to have responsible stewardship. So the city's Urban Forestry Committee oversees that. And this past year, with your support, we also launched a long-term tree planting program that includes replacing at least 1 tree for every tree that's removed on city property. As well as replacing trees along Main Street that were infested with a particular type of pest. And we'll be announcing an upcoming tree giveaway to city residents soon. And we also work with local groups like the Midweek Garden Club, which will be doing an Arbor Day planting with them to plant trees along Ferndale Boulevard. And then also with Keep High Point Beautiful and High Point University in April for around Earth Day and National Arbor Day. In addition, we've planted 8 trees this season as part of our Memorial Tree Program, Plant to Remember. So as you heard in the proclamation, there are many benefits to trees, including increased property values that contribute to the city's bottom line and also to the livability of the city. So planting trees and increasing our tree canopy plays a direct role in improving the citizens' lives. So I appreciate your time reading the proclamation and for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Piper. Appreciate it. Thank you. Next on the agenda is our strategic plan update. We'll be getting updates on our blight reduction and marketing and branding initiative. I'll begin by Recognizing our Councilmember Chris Williams, who will update us on our blight reduction strategy.
Thank you, Mayor. The following report summarizes the local code enforcement activities for the month of February. Minimum housing, we've had 15 new citizen complaints, 9 city-initiated cases. Demolition orders, we have 3 units pending demolition, 1 order initiated, 1 owner initiated demolition, 5 units within the order to demolish in the appeal period. 8 units pending repairs, that is 1205 Filbert, 1215 East Russells, 613 Manley, 1105 Forest, 524 Cross, 1222 Carter, 1004 Prospect, and 337 Wingo. Public nuisances, we have 28 new citizen complaints, 51 new city-initiated cases, 74 cases abated, 18 abated by the city, 56 owner abated. Zoning, we have 20 new citizens zoning complaints. We have 49 city-initiated cases, 45 signs collected. A total of active cases are 428, 245 minimum housing, 60 public nuisances, and 123 zoning. What I'll do is now I'll turn the floor over to Lori Loosemore, our code enforcement manager.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council, City Manager. This is our city-initiated cases, just keeping you an update of, we're supposed to be 100% proactive. But for the month of February, we started, the city-initiated 9 minimum housing cases. We had 15 complaints. For public nuisance, we only had 28 complaints, and we initiated 51. And then as far as zoning cases, we had 20 complaints, but city staff initiated 49 cases. And part of that, I'm gonna guess, is due to, I updated you a few months ago that we would be working on vehicle establishments. We noticed some car dealerships around town that were kind of expanding their area of storage and things like that. So since last summer, around June, July, we have done 17, we've inspected 17 businesses. 4 did not have any violations. 6, we did have violations, but they are now in compliance. And then we still have 7 active cases that we're working on. So I have some pictures to show you of some of the cases, and I'll try and explain it as best I can. If you have a question, let me know. So this was a business, and there's 3 lots basically that this business is using, which they're allowed to per the planning and zoning. But this is an aerial view of what it looked like when we first started the case. This is from 2022. Number 1, next to that, they do car sales and auto repairs. So number 1 is where they were selling cars or had cars sitting to be sold. And then number 2, behind the building is supposed to be their storage area and fenced and screened. And then number 3 is really supposed to be more their customer parking area. But as you can see, really number 2 and all around over to number 3, they were using for storage of vehicles. And this is what it looked like when we originally wrote it up. So they were even parking, I don't know if it was customers or employees were even parking in the right of way sometimes because they had no parking in the middle there for customers to come in and just park, or for employees. So that's what it looked like. While we were there, we also observed some public nuisance violations, so the storing of tires and other chemicals and things that were stored outside. So this, and this was one of the storage area, the parking supposed to be for customer parking, and you can see it's grown up and looks like the cars hadn't moved in a while. And this is in the back where they were storing the vehicles. So as you can see, it was not being maintained. It's supposed to have an impervious surface, and then of course not have grass and weeds growing up into the cars. But that's what it looked like then. This is what it looks like now. This was a very recent case we got closed out. So that's what their parking area is now, where they can come in and customers can park, employees can park, and they have room. And this was some of the area where they had a lot of tires and junk built up. And this is in the back where all the grass and things were. So you can see the fence now, that was covered in grass. So that's all been cleared off. And they did put gravel down in the back. And then this is just the outside view of that fence, of it being cleaned, and just how much better it looks from the outside. This was a property, and they have a business at 1029, 1025, 1023, and 1021 they did not own. That's not their property. But from this aerial, you can see on number 4, that was a different owner, but they were storing cars on their property. So when we went out to talk with them, we had to discuss what their plans were and how they plan to get in compliance. So basically, 1 is where their customers would be parking. 2, in the back of the building is supposed to be fenced and screened and an impervious surface for storage of vehicles. And then number 3 is their lot, and they could have fenced that in and improved that parking and screened it, and they could have used that. They chose not to. And then, of course, number 4, that lot, they had to remove all of them from that because it was not their property. So they were cited for that. And this one took quite a while to get into compliance. But this is kind of what it looked like when we first went out. The front side, there was just cars parked there. And this is the lots, the 2 lots to the left of the business, where they were just parking cars, customers after they were fixed, or people weren't paying to get them fixed, whichever. And then this was kind of a close-up, and you can see next to the building right there, you see the fence coming down, but that was not screened. So one, it needed to come all the way out and be fenced and screened to block the cars. And this, you can see now that it's been in compliance, that's where they brought the fence out and screened it. And you can see, I don't think they were quite open at this time. I think it was early in the morning when the inspector went out there. But that's where their customers can park. And this is the lot now that's been cleared off next to it. And as you can see, they finished the fencing, the screening there to improve the area. So if you're familiar with it and you've ridden it, I hope it looks a little bit better now. Okay. Any questions or anything? No?
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Mayor, it was brought to my attention the way I read our monthly report. I need to be clearer, so I was referring to cases, cold cases, when I said the word nuisances, not individuals. So somebody said they thought I was talking about people.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Councilman Holmes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is indeed an exciting time to be in High Point. Last week, the full Task Force, Strategic Branding and Marketing Task Force met, and our firm Civic Brand delivered our brand strategy. And I'm going to call an audible tonight, and I'm going to ask our marketing manager, Ryan Ferguson, to give you the finer details, because I don't want to give too much because I'm very excited. And so he's going to give some finer points of what that brand strategy looks like.
I am Ryan Ferguson, Marketing Manager here at the City of High Point, and I am excited too. The past couple of weeks, we, between the 3 of us, got to sit down with Civic Brand and kind of go over that. Went over it last Tuesday with our Marketing and Branding Task Force. And one of the cool takeaways, I think, from that meeting essentially was that everybody in that room, after they had delivered what the brand strategy was to us, we clapped, like in excitement, you know what I mean? And I think that maybe was a first for Civic Brand, because later on their social media, they said, they talked about how, impressing their clients when they stand up and give you a round of applause, which was pretty cool. Overall, the brand strategy is coming along, and essentially that's how we tell our story, putting that through a set of filters and everything that we do here at the city, whether that's policies, whether that's sign ordinances, whatever that is, it's how we as a city can be creative and inclusive and kind and really be that center for design. So everything is coming along. We should have this process wrapped up sometime in April, and as soon as we do that, then we will come back and present that information to you guys. But overall, truth be told, at the beginning of this process, I was extremely nervous. You know, what if this doesn't turn out right and they're going to run me out of the city? I am so confident what they have come up with not only our input, but everywhere across this community's input. A lot of people that I see in here and talk to them, and just really kind of came up with what we have so far. So I know a lot of people think a logo, well, you know, what's that going to look like? We don't have that as of yet. They're still in that design process, but with the brand strategy that we have, that logo could be a blue dot or a red dot or a star or something, whatever it is, because it's not about that mark. It's about who we are and how we are move forward as a city to tell our story. So it will be part of that process, but it is exciting. As you always say, it's an exciting time to be in High Point, and I am really excited about it. So we'll have that for you here shortly.
So no sneak peek? No.
Not for you.
No, the media's already beat you to that question.
They have indeed.
So no.
I don't have anything really to give you a sneak peek at. I know most people just want to see that, like I said, see that mark, and a lot of people think, you know, branding is just that logo, and it's much more. But yeah, we'll certainly, as soon as we have that information, we'll certainly maybe leak it to all you guys.
Thank you. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, all right. Good, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is the public comment period. Our public comment is held on the first Monday meeting, or the first meeting of council each month, unless we change it. Those who have signed to speak will be taken in the order that they're listed. If you did not get a chance to sign up, you can still speak if you'd like. You just have to wait until everybody who signed up goes first. Please address the city council when you're speaking. Your comments are limited to 3 minutes. There's a timer on the wall. We ask that you please stick to that out of respect for your other folks who want to speak. When I call your name, please come to the podium and give us your name and address for our record. And then you can speak for 3 minutes. If you're here representing a group, we would prefer that you designate a spokesperson rather than the whole group coming up. But we'll get down to it now. First on the list is Ridvan Tatargill.
Hello, my name is Ridvan Tatargill. I represent my company Eastern Accents here. I came to High Point in 1982, first time, and we started showing here in 1988. And I've been here since. We've been to New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles. I'm in home furnishing business. New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Dallas, I don't know, a bunch of other cities. We just dropped Las Vegas and Atlanta, and this is the only location we are concentrating. So it comes to the next show, trade show. We are expanding our showroom in Market Square, which has been our home like for 23 years. That building is 23 years old. And then we have, I own the Pandora's Manor. I think that's the best bed and breakfast anywhere. I'm just telling you, you guys don't believe me, just go spend some money and see prove it yourself. That's the best bed and breakfast anywhere in the world. And then we invest into North Carolina Shakespeare Festival. Our idea was to do some sort of space for Eastern Accents, and then it turned out it wasn't large enough. We improved the space, and there's a photo studio there, there's a dance studio, nonprofit, it's fully leased. Then our latest one is that 630 West Green. That is going to be just like a jewel there, where we will have educational leg, production facilities, the entertainment, light entertainment, and it will be open year-round. Forget about year-round. You guys want year-round. I wanted longer days as well. So it starts at 8 o'clock, it ends at 8 o'clock or 8:30. So you'll get what you want, even more than that. I want you guys to believe this is the most important city in home furnishing business in the world. No one can compete with us because of the diverse ownership here. I don't know, there are several hundred owners in this city. This city is going nowhere. Atlanta will disappear. Please don't tell anybody in Georgia. Las Vegas will disappear. Those buildings will be repurposed to some other stuff. And this is going to be, the Heimtech show in Germany wasn't that good this time. It's shrinking. You guys have a jewel in your hand. I want you to realize it is extremely valuable. I know some of you guys, I'm out of my time, right? All right, listen, I only met friends here, friendly, warm. I love being here, and hopefully we will do a lot more in the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ridvan. And Mayor Wagner, if I may, so I'm so excited because there's several people here that were here all last week. You know, we had Dover Cole here, Southwest Renewal Foundation wrote a $100,000 grant and hired Dover Cole to come, and it was such an exciting week. And so I was able to capture a couple of images, and so I've given some to Ryan. Ryan, I'd love if you could just show a couple of what he was saying. You know, we out of our retreat came, you know, design, art, and then Southwest being Catalyst 2.0, and just all that kind of excitement. And I think a picture paints 1,000 words, and I just kind of wanted everybody to feel as excited as I was, and to really kind of see that these aren't just ideas or thoughts, it's action that's actually happening. And I'd love to show a few images.
Which ones would you like?
Okay, that one is under the Eastern accents.
They're not really labeled. Do you have one you want brought up?
Yeah, let's see here. Go to that first image real quick. Yeah. Now, this image got a lot of notoriety all last week. This is kind of like as it is now. And Ridvan owns this building. It used to be the old Green Oak Bar. And then if you'll go, please, Ryan, if you'll go to the image, yes. So that's what Dover Cole kind of came out with. And it kind of shows people that maybe have lost hope in that area that's been the old historic industrial corridor, that you turn the lights on and you make action happen. But so I wanted you to see those, and there's a couple more for the Eastern accents. Let's see here. Okay, currently, go to image. Okay, go to the one, it says screen, yeah, that one. Okay, so this is a huge investment that Ridvan's made. This is the old Hayworth panel. And he's already done a lot of work on it. You can see like some concrete. I'll get this to all council members, but I wanted the public to be able to see this too. And now if you'll go to the rendering, Ryan, it is the one up there. So this gives you an idea of plans that Ridvan's already submitted to the city. You know, so he's invested in the property. It's going to be a beautiful outdoor and indoor. They're going to be manufacturing inside, and just very exciting. I just wanted everyone to be able to see that. I did a couple of product shots, but we don't necessarily, just to kind of see, yeah, do the one with the bed. But that's a different company, but okay. Just beautiful, beautiful products. And so I just said, Ridvan, as a council person for Ward 3, I thank you so much for your investment. I really, really do. And we hope to just make sure that we nurture it and make sure that you continue to grow and always call High Point your home. So thank you.
Okay. Next person on the list is Stuart Gans.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Stuart Gans. Along with my wife, Layla, we purchased 1200 Reading Drive, which is also in the Southwest. Former Pickett Cotton Mill, was Buzzy Space for a bit, and Gable Furniture. We're bringing it back to life now with modern manufacturing blended together with hand finishing and hand manufacturing, along with some public spaces that'll be able to invite people in to see what's going on and partake in what's happening. And I just wanted to take this time to, let everybody know how excited I've been, just like Ridvan. I haven't quite been here as long as him, but I've been coming here a long time. Finally made the move, relocated here, moved our business, moved our family, and we're all in, and we're really excited for what's happening. It'd been a long time where I could never say that, we'd become at a high point because it was work, This has been the furniture capital of the world. As he said, it's going to be the furniture capital of the world. It's, it's stronger now than ever, especially with this big boost we're getting with Made in the USA. We need to open our arms, embrace that, bring it here. It's good for everybody. And, I think the Southwest is probably going to be one of the hippest, coolest sides. You can't recreate these old buildings. You can't recreate what he's doing, what we're doing. I mean, it's history. Our building was built in 1911, the first part. And the actual original barn where they store the cotton actually faces the Greenway. So, we're going to have a great anchor point. We're saving that for something special for the public, for this Greenway, and just all excited about what's happening here. So I used a little bit less time than Ridvan. I'll make up for him going over.
Thank you, Stuart. And if I can say one other thing about Pickett Cotton Mill. So, they're right along where the urban greenway is going to come, and it's really going to help connect all those different mills and stuff. And what Stuart and Layla do, the name of their business is Classic Elements, and they carry to and sell to and have world-renowned designers, and so what they're bringing to the city. And then I know a lot of people have seen Pickett Cotton Mill, after Splashworks had it, but Ryan, do you mind sharing a couple images for me, please? Okay, do the one with the finials. That one's just fun. And it just shows they actually make this in the, that one's fun. Do that one. So this is like inside the old Pickett Cotton Mill. And it shows, them making this stuff right there in that space. And then I think he sent, image 4420. And that shows, the outside of the old Pickett Cotton Mill, right there on Reading. Let's see, do that one. That one's good. And then, it's just really cool reuse of that old building, and then how they just, design and the color, everything's great. So, and image 4419, and that's it. That one right there, just to kind of show, when they first came, it was a fairly dilapidated building that needed a lot of work, and now just look at the reuse of that. So thank you, Stuart, for your investment in our city. You and Layla and your children that have moved here and call High Point home. We really appreciate your investment.
Beautiful.
If I can tag on real quick, for you gentlemen and the others, as somebody that grew up in the town in the 60s and 70s and remembers when we had the license plate tags on the front of vehicles that said High Point Furniture and Textile Capital of the World, where we not only had the showrooms, but we also had the manufacturing. It's very exciting to see the manufacturing piece coming back. I hope it can come back real quick, and I hope people understand how important that is to sovereignty, domestic supply chain, et cetera, et cetera. So it's extremely important, and we appreciate it.
Next on the list is Ali Arpasian and Jado Weathers. Combined presentation.
Does that mean we get 6 minutes? Hi, everybody. Wait, I forgot, Ryan. I don't have to lean. I can be taught. I can remember things. Like, I know how to address you now. Thank you, Mayor Wagner and Madam Manager and City Council. Thank you for all that you do. You have a very difficult job. I'm not envious of y'all, and I thank you for everything you do for us every day and supporting the Arts Council. I'm Ali Arpasian. I'm the director of the High Point Arts Council, and I'm here today to give you a couple updates on the Arts Council, but also there's someone lovely standing behind me, and this is our brand new Education, Inclusion, and Community Engagement Manager, Jada Weathers, and her role will be to handle our programming to make sure it's diverse, not only in representation of artists, but also making sure it's representing our entire community. And she's full-time, I'm thrilled, and I'll let her say hello.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Jada Weathers. I'm very excited to be in this role. I attended University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, then I relocated to Dallas, Texas, where I got my Master's of Education from Southern Methodist University. So I'm now back home in this role. I'm just really excited to be here and be back home. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll give a couple updates. This past weekend, we served the High Point Community Theater performed Nonsense, and we were able to serve 505 patrons in that. We just completed our autism-friendly certification thanks to Visit High Point, so now we are on the list of an autism center. So stay tuned for sensory-friendly programming coming this way, hoping to implement in Arts Splash or Summer Concert Series. Thank you so much for the opportunity to serve on the 2045 Steering Committee. I'm thrilled to and honored to be able to represent on that. We are collecting data on our Americans for the Arts survey on the economic impact that we are having here in High Point. That is going very well. We have turned out more surveys than they anticipated us to do, and we shall have the data this summer, which was great in helping to tell our story. And we are collecting our own needs assessment. I think I might have mentioned that a while ago, but it's still going very, very well, and that's helping to shape Jada's role in the programs that we'll be bringing to town based on the community's interests and need. We're developing a lot of board recruitment and development. We have a lot of people rolling off the board, so come June and July, you'll see a lot of new faces on our board and a lot more diversity. And I just want to call attention that we are having an open mic this Friday at 7 o'clock. It's free. I hope to see you. Come sing something. I know y'all sing. And then we're also going to do a St. Patrick's Day celebration on the 18th. We have the new potatoes and some Irish step dancing and a lot of Guinness, so please buy the Guinness. And then we'll do piano bar karaoke at the end of the month. She's coming back because she was a hit. And I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to open up the ARPA dollars. I've been crafting a very strategic and very impactful plan for our arts community. And I hope to be able to sit down individually. I'll be reaching out to y'all to see how you want the dollars moved. And that's my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next person on the list is Ken Orms.
Good evening. My name is Ken Orms. I live at 3525 Sainsbury Lane in High Point. I've got a Greensboro mailing address. But I have some thoughts concerning those people who are considering running for election or re-election to the council. And I would like to remind everyone of some of the things that the council has taken. Some are years past, some are more current. But 62% of voters told the council they did not want a baseball stadium. However, you proved you didn't care and spent $70 million on a stadium anyhow, even though voters said no. Voters rejected 4-year term limits on council members, although for 20 years, Mayor Wagner and others said if 2-year terms are good enough for the members of the U.S. Congress, they should be good enough for High Point. But it took less than 6 months for only 5 council members to change term lengths from 2 to 4. One council member is even quoted as saying, longer terms are needed so they have time to build a record of legislative accomplishments. After saying a new police station would cost about $12 million and signing an $18 million not to exceed contract, the council spent $27 million to build it. At one point, you puffed out your chest and have it as having the highest paid city manager in the area, only to part company about a year and giving him a golden parachute to be quiet and go away. After establishing a reparations commission, you provided this volunteer commission with $65,000 to do their work. Councilman Holmes pointed out that no other volunteer commission has ever received money to do their work. The Reparation Commission members also wanted to be paid for volunteering. Their request demonstrated their first concern was to line their own pockets before doing their work, and thankfully the council said, "You're not getting the money." The commission and the council approved the members only to have several fired or resign. And after being disorganized for so long, council gave the commission more time for them to do their work. The council wanted to use eminent domain to forcefully take property from a local dentist and an electrical company to build a parking garage for the stadium. You purchased a vacant business property only after city officials said city didn't need it, had no idea why it was purchased. City council members have failed or been slow to respond to citizens, and the council asks for input and then often ignores the feedback. So for any person running or considering running to be a councilman or the mayor, you must first of all listen and respect the voice and the will of taxpayers and voters. You must stop spending money we don't have or have to borrow for projects that nobody wants or are not needed. You need to change the time of the council meetings from 5:30 to 6 so more citizens can attend. You should allow citizens to speak at each council meeting, not just once a month. Just to have a little bit here. Establish bi-monthly citizen outreach events in each district on the weekends where council members can hear directly from taxpayers or from citizens. And I believe, Mr. Holmes, you mentioned that when you were first running. You need to return to 2-year terms. You changed it from 2 to 4. You need to go back to 2 years. And when selling property, the selling price must include the purchase price, the buying and selling closing costs, any maintenance or environmental remediation costs, and the lost tax revenue while the city owned the property. To sell it for anything less, you're just cheating the taxpayer and the citizens of High Point. The city has done some good things, but I wanted to bring these to the forefront. And if you'd like a copy of my comments, I have them. I can be glad to share them with you. Thank you.
Next person on the list, can't make out the last name, but is it Rudy Nissen? Yes.
Good evening. My name is Rudy Nijssen. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm a passionate designer and collector of all kinds of things. I also represent my wife, Dominique, who's from Belgium and a designer as well. She's not here, but and we came to High Point, I think, in 2006, where we came for market. So we're in the design industry. We collect and buy antiques and resell them. We also design lighting. We have a manufacturing company in Europe where we design and create and we sell globally. And we chose in 2014 High Point to be our headquarters in the United States because of the opportunity that we think that, what it's showing. So the opportunity of the market, the marketplace, all the people that gather here through market, but also the big community of designers and people from all over the world that are basically settling here. So we purchased properties on the West Green over there, and after last week we got confirmed that this is the location for the future. This becomes a design district, so we're super happy that we're there. We own a lot of square foot on the West Green. I think it's the 700 block, Old Myrtle Desk, Flyback Building, Alma Desk. So, and we have big plans to develop the site. First of all, to move our company in, that would be phase 1. And after we have assembled a small team of people that are really in the cradle-to-cradle circular safe product environment with huge connections all over the globe to bring in very interesting companies to also join us here in High Point to show what the future is like. So I want to thank everybody and also the city that, all these opportunities that kinds of comes together. So we're super excited to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rudy. And so he's the latest investor in an area that really is in a lot of need, and it is also running right along on the the urban greenway through kind of like the Green Street Design District. But I know I don't know, I'm going to ask Ryan one more time. I promise this will be it, if we can just see some ideas, because I'm just so excited, and I want you all to feel my excitement. It is a great time to be in High Point, and I believe in all of us, you know, to continue investing so that we have more investors, and the private-public realm is amazing, and I'm just, to have these folks from all over the world come into our city and take historic industrial properties and reconvert them into repurposed design, it's just amazing. The creativity is astounding. So I'm just so excited. But let's see, I don't think it's any of those. It's that last thing. It was like a little bit of a pop. Oh, yes, that's it. I think that's it. And there's some before and after, you know, images too, so you can really see like, wow, what is now? And then you can see the images below, the old flyback building. It's just a beautiful campus. Wow, investment. Thank you. From the City of High Point, thank you guys so much for investing and being here tonight to share with us and to tell us what you've got going on. Thank you so much.
Okay, Ben, is it Delazio? Oh, okay. You're waiving your opportunity? Okay, all right, good. Okay. All right, is there anyone else who did not get a chance to sign up who'd like to speak during public comment?
Good evening, Council. I'm Reverend Frank Thomas. I pastor Mount Zion Baptist Church, 753 Washington Street. It wasn't that I didn't get a chance to sign up. I had not planned to speak for public comment. I came for the public hearing later. But as I mentioned, I think the last time I was here, there's an old song in our tradition that says, said I wasn't going to tell nobody, but I just couldn't keep it to myself. And when I heard the proclamation about Arbor Day and heard the presentation from the gentleman about Arbor Day, I find it interesting that we have a tree ordinance and not a fair housing ordinance. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Thomas. All right. Anyone else who'd like to speak during public comment?
Mayor, I don't want to speak, we just wanted to say to the comments how much we appreciate everyone who came in. I think the comments made by Councilwoman Peters as well as Councilman Moore about the incredible work done by developers and investors in our Southwest area. We could echo those sentiments. Mayor, the work being done to look at manufacturing in that corridor, what you all have done in past iterations of council, I don't know if you all had the foresight of it getting to where it is right now and all the investment being made to bring that manufacturing back. Britt, it's almost like you manifested it, because I think with every word you say manufacturing onshoring comes back. And I once heard from a wise man that no one outsources their strategic advantage. So I'm grateful that we are onshoring so much of that and bringing so much talent back to High Point, creating that arts and design capital here in the same night. We've heard from folks involved in arts and in design, and I think that's just so critical to where we're going. So I'm excited. I'm not gonna get on my soapbox. I think folks know I can keep going on and on about this, but I am excited and appreciate, Monica, everything you shared with us this evening.
Thank you. Okay, so I will close the public comment period then, and we will move on to the Finance Committee. And for that, I will turn the meeting over to Councilman Britt Moore, who chairs the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mayor Wagner. We did meet as usual, and you have found in your packet our items, and they are on a consent agenda, and they start at 2023-092, running continuously to 2023-104. Everything was approved unanimously at our meeting, and I am bringing this forward with a motion for approval.
Second. And there's a motion for approval and a second for the approval of the Finance Committee consent agenda items. Is there any discussion on any of those items? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously.
That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Relatively short agenda tonight. The general business agenda is, the main item is a public hearing regarding the proposed electoral ward boundaries. Those have been proposed and out for comment for a while. Tonight was the night set for public hearing. Reverend Frank Thomas is the only person who signed up to speak, but if anyone else would like to speak after Reverend Thomas, you'll have a chance. Oh, yeah, and the public hearing's open.
Yay.
Go ahead. I have to say that, so.
Buckle up. I don't have a lot to say, but I have looked at the proposals for the redistricting, and I think you're at a place where you've kind of narrowed it down to one, had one presented, and I just wanted to publicly say I'm happy that it turned out the way that it did, primarily for the neighborhood that I represent, Ward 1 and Ward 2, that there were no significant changes. There might have been some shifting of a few streets here or there, but I don't know how much feedback you've gotten, but from the few people that I have spoken to, people are pleased with the work that has been done and are happy that voters and citizens won't be overwhelmingly burdened with shifting and changing the way they see things here at council. And with the upcoming election year, I know that people kind of wondered when that discussion first came up, what are the new lines going to look like and how is that going to affect me? So far, from what I've heard, there have been positive comments, and I just wanted to commend you for doing that, to not, again, overly burden the citizens when it comes to redistricting and wondering who their representative is going to be and where their new voting location might possibly be. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Thomas. Is there anyone else who would like to be heard on the redistricting proposal? Okay, seeing none, then I will close the public hearing. Is council prepared to take action on this tonight, or do we want to
Yes, sir, Mr.
wait for a bit
Mayor.
longer?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we accept the resolution as it is indicated here with option A2, and having known that we've heard from all the folks and gone through a really good process and other stuff.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second for approval of map option A2. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. I want to commend our staff and our consultants on a very good process. And again, I think we were also mixture of that and a little bit of luck, that we didn't have a whole lot of dramatic growth in certain sectors of town that required major changes. So, but I do want to commend everybody and tell y'all thank you. Redistricting doesn't always go that smoothly, as I'm sure y'all are aware. You can take all the credit. Take all the credit. Okay, next on the agenda, we have some minutes to be approved. Is there a motion to that effect?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of approval of the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Any announcements before adjournment?
Happy Women's History Month
Okay.
for all the women.
Oh, goodness.
I think it's Women's History.
Yeah, it is, it is. It is.
History months get mixed up sometimes.
Yeah. And actually, I think there's several events going on through the month. I know with the, Heidi Majors has some stuff with the YWCA, and then the big end of the month kickoff is going to be March 31st at Stock and Grain. It's going to be really awesome. Several of the women's organizations are going to be there. There's going to be educational opportunities. It's all about women's growth in education and career. So anyway, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So March 31st, I think it's going to start around 6 o'clock at Stock and Grain and our public plaza, and it'll be a great way to end the month and celebrate all the women in your life that you know and love.
I'll do a reminder at our next council meeting, but if y'all were in attendance last year, we did our first salute to female veterans last year, and it was such a hit. We're going to do it again this year on the 23rd, right before we leave for DC. So I'll remind everybody again, but it's on my social media as well.
Okay, cool.
Mayor, I actually said, sorry, I'm so sorry. I said last time that I wasn't gonna let this slide, and let's forget it. So we're not gonna forget to celebrate our Assistant City Manager, Eric Olmedo, for winning Assistant City Manager of the Year for the state of North Carolina. Can we please clap it up for Eric? Madam Manager, I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone else. Were there some other award honorees there that night too from the city?
We did, as part of the City County Managers Association winter meeting. High Point had 2 of our employees that were recognized. As we just mentioned, Eric Olmedo was named Assistant City Manager of the Year. But we also had Alex Shepard, who works with us in the Parks and Recreation Department, and he received a scholarship for finishing up his MPA degree. So we were happy to see the city of High Point represented in that setting.
Nice. Yeah.
That's
Very
awesome.
nice, well done, well deserved.
Yes. Okay. Anything else?
Welcome, Jada, and one more, the TikTok that y'all did, and all the swag bags that you got. I just need to make sure, Ryan, did she get a City of High Point swag bag? Okay. I would, yeah, but, okay. So I'm glad. It looked very nice in your office, all the fun stuff. So welcome to High Point.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Yeah, that motion passes unanimously, and we are adjourned.